So my workshop is called Food for Thought. It takes a look at how classism, racism, and even religious oppression or religious ignorance is pervasive everywhere in the education system, even something as innocuous as a lunch menu. So using my own and the workshop participants' experience with their elementary lunch time, we begin to explore how these different kinds of isms can exist in something as simple as lunch. We look at the demographics of 7 school districts across the country and compare their lunch menus to each other. We then begin to discuss how a lunch menu that is overwhelmingly white-centered can cause cultural dissonance, enhance existing hunger problems, and the problems these kinds of issues can cause on their education progress. So I picked this topic because, I don't know, I didn't know what to pick. And I had 3 things, and then I just really started to go with the food thing. And then as I was creating it, I found myself in it. I was a family of 6. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. My mom was the only one who worked, and so I received free lunch for my entire education. And I didn't realize that I was getting free lunch. I thought free lunch was a part of what school was. And it wasn't until junior high that I realized, hey, not everyone is actually getting their food for free. And so then that's how I ended up finding myself in the workshop.
Would you bring in lunch to your presentation, examples of the food?
So what I start out with is in the handout, everyone gets a copy of a lunch tray like you had in grade school, or a lunch box or a lunch bag on the other side, and they write down what they traditionally had in their lunch. And then I'm assuming that most people's will be very similar. And so we kind of compared that to what these 7 school districts have and how it's white-centered food. There's not much, very few schools have things that are outside of your hamburger or pizza.
How does that make it, or what specific things about it make it white-centered?
What do you mean?
Does it include pork, that some religions can't eat pork, or that kind of thing?
Yeah, there's the religious section.
Culturalism?
It's all in there. There's some of the schools are actually really cool, and they'll put this contains pork, this contains wheat, this contains dairy. Not all of the schools do that though.
Mm-hmm.
And that's visible on some of the menus that I've included, because I actually include the menus from the different schools along with the number of students in each school or school district. It's not school specifically, but the number of school or students, the number of ELL learners, and then the percent of that population that's in poverty. And so it just looks at how all of that works separately and then together as well to keep poor kids hungry. Not poor kids, well, poor kids, but the kids hungry and then not able to focus on their education. And yeah, we could watch the video, but it's kind of,
Yeah.